Call it to order, and we'll do a pledge and a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll have a roll call. Bob is here, Doug is here, and Lou is here.
There's two Dougs here.
Two Dougs here. That was a two-Doug night. No, it's a two-Doug night. Okay. The first item on the agenda is public comments. Do we have any comments from the public? Son of a gun. That's a shame. Okay. No comments from the public. Next is administrative business.
The county counselor had presented you with some information from a trust that wanted, the ladies' trust left some money to the old annex building in Tonganoxie for air conditioning system. We have presented the necessary information to them, and they've issued a check, and we just wanted to recognize that trust for that, that contribution is really appreciated.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, Marilyn K. Parsons, through a trust, did leave a bequest to Leavenworth County for air conditioning at the, it referenced the Tonganoxie Annex. As times change, so can the interpretation of the trust. We were contacted by the trust officer handling this matter, providing us the copy of Ms. Parsons' wishes. We did respond with an estimate that was obtained with respect to the air conditioning at the Leavenworth County Annex building. The trust did approve that and issued a check. My purpose in coming to you this morning is to ask that you affirmatively accept Ms. Parsons' gift and express your thanks for the same.
Okay, let's try something a little different. Instead of discussing it, let's do a motion to and a second, and then we'll do a discussion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the check for $12,549.40 from Marilyn K. Parsons Irrevocable Trust.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Very good. Any discussion on either of the commissioners?
I just think the Parsons family's been very generous to the 4-H and the Fair Board and 4-H camps over the years. They've donated a lot of money to these causes.
I agree.
They need to be acknowledged for that.
Very good. And the only thing I had was, and I brought it up to staff previously, the annex doesn't need a air conditioner. The annex, we got a new annex. And that was a question, and it wasn't brought up in a negative way. It's how you look at words and how you move with words. David had an answer for that, yes, the annex is new, it doesn't need an air conditioner, so how do we spend her money on the trust money on an air conditioner? Well, you can do one of two things. You can ask the trust to deviate, or number two, you can save it for the repairs. So, and David, would you give your answer on that?
Mr. Chairman, as I referenced in my earlier comment, the intent of a trust is what controls. The fact that Ms. Parsons was kind enough to leave a bequest for air conditioning at the annex, since times have changed, now goes to the repair and maintenance of the air conditioning system. That was presented to the trust. The trust approved that, and that's why we're here this morning discussing this topic.
Very good. Okay, how do you got any more discussion?
No. Just one more thing.
Yeah.
Is there going to be some kind of a plaque or acknowledgement that that was done?
That'd be
Mr. Chairman,
nice.
members of the Commission, if you don't object, it was my intention to prepare a letter for your signatures.
But I meant something placed at the annex
Yeah.
or something. That was something.
I agree with David, though. I think we need to send him a letter of condolence.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, quite frankly, the cost of a plaque is under $50. And and that could easily be arranged if it's the wish of the board.
You want a plaque?
I do.
Okay.
Yes,
One
sir.
plaque. There you go. It's unanimous.
I'll make arrangements.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That takes care of item 1.
We
Yes.
vote.
Aye.
We need to vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next is consent.
I've got one issue with, I was subpoenaed last week, and therefore I'm going to have to bring my attorney back. And so I will be like the rest of you two. I'll have my own attorney.
Okay. We need to find out if it's an agreement between 2 out of the 3, since really Doug is, not Doug, Bob. I had 2 Dougs, 3 Bobs. Who do you want to be today?
I'll be Bob.
We're going to be Bob Day. Bob is really we call it an opponent or what? So I guess it boils down to my mind, should the county be paying for his attorney? So
Well,
Yes, we should be.
you say yes?
I do.
I say yes.
Okay. Sounds like it's unanimous. So
Okay.
you're going to bring back and
Yeah, I'll bring back the attorney,
same attorney, or is it a different attorney?
different attorney.
Different attorney. Okay.
Something a little closer.
A little closer.
Yeah.
Close is good.
Traveling to Topeka wasn't good.
Yeah, very good. Okay. So we got that one out of the way. Let's approval of the minutes. Anybody have anything on the minutes?
No, sir.
Bob? Okay. I do. I'll get number 2 first. It says Janet Klodzinski indicated she would need to look into the legality of the question, and the question was on Kim Knight. Did we accomplish that by any chance?
I have not accomplished that.
Okay.
I'm working on that.
Very good.
And, we'll reply back to the board.
Okay, thank you. Number 1, motion was made by Commissioner Holland to instruct the Leavenworth County Counselor, and he works for the County Administrator, Mr. Van Paris, to seek a Kansas Attorney General's reference to KSA 19219 to determine if the Chairman of the Board of County Commissioners can be removed from the chairmanship of the board by a majority vote of the board. I request Mr. Van Paris make this inquiry to the AG's office no later than July 26th and seek an answer back to the board by July 31st. I am asking for a second to my motion. There was a second by Mr. Smith, and it passed 2-1. Have you accomplished that mission?
Mr. Chairman, members of this board, on July 25th, 2018, I sent via email and the U.S. mail a letter to the Honorable Derek Schmidt requesting an opinion on the topic, as Commissioner Klemp just referenced. I utilized the verbatim wording of the motion that was made by Commissioner Holland. I did provide a synopsis. I have provided you each with a copy of the letter that was forwarded to the Office of the Attorney General. I spoke with the Office of the Attorney General on the 25th. Per their request, I did provide to them a short memorandum of what I have been able to discern with respect to that question in the short time that I had. I provided you a copy with that memorandum as well. As of this morning, I have not received any word back from the Office of the Attorney General. I did leave a phone message this morning and an email to the staff at the Attorney General's office who is handling this matter. I would like to state that it is certainly not unheard of for the Office of the Attorney General to take more than 3 business days to respond to a request. I fully anticipate that we will receive a response from the Office of the Attorney General, either offering the opinion requested, requesting additional information, or declining to offer the opinion for whatever reason the Attorney General's office would deem appropriate.
Thank you very much. The next item on there, on the agenda is the check register. Anybody have any questions on that?
It's creeped up from the last time we had.
Yes, it has.
Well, I'm sure a lot of it's public works doing asphalt and sealing. They spend a little money doing that.
Well, that's all right. He was just commenting that
This is the time you.
I was just commenting
Yeah.
that last time it was quite a ways down.
Yep.
And this time.
And it's very interesting, and for people.
738,962.31. I can remember when we were having it $1 million every week,
Every week.
or month, or whatever.
Well, probably every
The good
week.
thing about public works, you can drive around and see where they're spending the money. I can give you a list of
I
roads.
have driven 155th Street
That's a nice street, isn't it?
3 times already.
I
I'm
have
gonna go
too.
down one more time, and on the
have
way
too.
down, I'll go down to Kelly's, and I'm gonna get me a BLT.
And 179th Street's completed.
179th.
Yeah, it's done. Drive it.
Well, okay, I know I don't wanna drive 179th. I got some, what do you call it, feelings on that. 127th Street is done. You can't get the sheriff to police it, though. We'll have all those big trucks coming in from Wyandotte County. And, but we've got an avenue now over to the transfer station. Won't create dust for the young lady that lives over there. But, yeah, there was a lot done for 72,000. That was, but that was for the, what is it? Who knows what account it is. Transfer station, health department. It doesn't break it actually down to gravel. A lot of autopsies. Gosh, I love autopsies. Where's Davis Molden? Oh, that's looking back in history, isn't it? When the
Davis Mullen's not in there, is
no, but he used to do the, show up and say,
Oh,
yes, the
yeah.
person has passed away, which is, now we've upgraded and we have an autopsy on everyone. 85,000 for rock, and that's what you mentioned. 61,000 for road oil, and you said public works, and that's good. Gets a lot of roads done. And Tronicom, 69, let's call it 70,000. What's Tronicom? In a minute, no, that's on page 10. And it's progress billing. Progressive, that bothers me when it's progress. $70,000. Com must be sheriff, emergency preparedness. Anybody know?
No.
Well, that's all right. Let's
I'll
don't-
get you the details for that.
Say again?
I'll get you the details
Yeah,
for
I
that.
appreciate that. That is a significant amount.
it? Right.
So,
One thing I want to
yes, sir.
ask you on, you mentioned the autopsy, that everyone, I don't think everyone that passes away gets an autopsy. I mean,
I thought I heard that when I first brought that up, Bob. Does anybody know Jamie?
Mr. Chairman, members of this commission, under state law, the autopsies are required in certain instances. Those are the instances you see.
yeah.
Payment is for the coroner's services, the pathology labs, various other aspects of an autopsy. If a person dies a natural death in the care of a physician, there is no requirement for an autopsy. In certain cases, however, there is a requirement for an autopsy.
If he apparently dies of natural causes, there could be a request for one also.
Certainly.
Yep. So, okay. Did you want to know, have them research what all of them are?
No, I've gone through this
Yeah.
several times,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no
That's it.
autopsies on any of the ones that I've personally was involved in.
Yep.
And so I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
That not everyone is
Well,
autopsy.
the taxpayers don't pay for
Right,
everyone's.
right. That's
That's
another
the
thing
big, that's where the question is.
Yeah.
We don't care if people pay for their own.
Right,
But eventually it'll be everyone. Time will come in.
You think it will?
Oh, yeah, it's a lobbying effect. So, okay. And last, are there any OCBs? Okay. And at the end, when we do the last portion, I have several items that I'd like to discuss. So I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
And how do you vote?
Aye.
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 Very good. Okay, the first event is formal board actions. Consider a motion to approve the FY 2018 quarterly budget adjustments, FY 2019 behavioral health budget, and FY 2019 revised grant of funding proposal for adult community corrections.
Morning.
Good morning.
Megan?
Our fiscal year for the community corrections ends June 30th, so this is just the finalization of approving our grant for fiscal year 2019. So there's 3 different documents that do need to have the chairman's signature if they are approved.
Okay. Yes, Bob?
I was just kind of curious on one thing, but I already answered
Well, why don't we do it?
I answered it myself.
There's nothing wrong with that. Why don't we have a motion, and then we'll second it, and then we'll discuss it. You want to do a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the approval of the community correction grant funds.
Second?
Okay, it's been, now, my discussion, okay? I'm just always curious when,
Curious is good.
yours is good. Can I go back to the past? I had some skippers. Gosh, did they teach me a lot in the Navy. I'm looking at your pay, I don't know what the first page is, budget narrative. It'd be the second page in your document. Do you know this Megan Waters?
I do.
You know her? Okay. She signed. Then I see a Pat Kitchens.
Correct.
He has not signed.
He is not, no. He is my advisory board president
Yeah. Why hasn't he signed?
because we have to get the board's permission first before he can sign as the advisory board.
Why don't we reverse that
I can.
and put him last?
Okay.
Okay?
On the paperwork,
Yeah.
I don't prepare the paperwork. The state of Kansas prepares the paperwork.
So they must think that who's sitting here is more important than the chairperson of the advisory board.
I can't.
Small point.
Yeah, I can't speak
Yeah.
for the Department of Corrections on
Okay.
how they prepare their paperwork.
To me, that's not the proper order. That's the second page too. That's the next page. Pat Kitchens, Louis Klemp, or who's sitting here. And then we get to the next page, and it's Community Corrections Advisory Board Chair and the County Commissioner sitting here. So there ought to be a sequence that the system goes through. Next, there's a letter here from, to you, from Hope Cooper.
Correct.
You know Hope Cooper?
I do.
You know her signature?
I do.
Okay. Look at the first one. That's Hope Cooper's signature. Now turn the page and compare that signature with the next signature. One of the two is not Hope Cooper. So unless they direct me, I'm not going to sign this. When we get to the point that somebody making the money she's making and she's got somebody signing for her, it's not her spouse, I don't think.
No, he passed away last year.
That's incidental, and it's a shame. And maybe that's why she has 2 different signatures, I don't know. But that is not her signature. So unless they direct me to sign it, I would like to have that corrected and have her sign both copies.
Okay.
So that's up to you 2 gentlemen. But I still want, whether they direct me, I still want her signatures on both copies.
Okay.
And anybody in the audience that would like to look at that,
I see what you mean.
yeah,
They are different.
they are totally different. And I think that is a shame to the department. The department does very good work, and there may be some people out there that don't care about that, but signatures are very important. Now, they're not anymore, I guess. We don't have cursive. We have, you know, you can print your signature. So that's what I would like to see. So, your choice.
I'm all right with, do you want to get their signatures
Okay.
changed?
Is that all right with you?
What kind of time frame are you on, Megan?
This is actually due today to them, but I can communicate with Ms.
Due
Cooper.
today?
Yeah.
Today, yeah.
Well, who created the problem? Hope did. We didn't create the problem. I mean, I think there's some significance to a signature. So what you could do is they could direct me, and I'll come back today and sign if you can get that corrected, because we have, and she can send two with her signature. Is that-
Is that an acceptable motion? I'll make the motion to authorize the chairman to sign the application, providing you get two matching signatures.
Second?
How do you vote?
Aye.
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 Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it. Okay, the next one is on consider a motion to award contract to, ever how you pronounce it, and Associates to provide services for Leavenworth County's dust abatement program.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning,
David.
A couple items for you this morning. First item for consideration is approval to award contract to Schlegel and Associates to provide professional services for Leavenworth County's dust abatement program. Public Works requests approval to enter into agreement with Schlegel and Associates to provide professional engineering services for 20 miles of Leavenworth County's dust abatement program. Fee for the services would be $130,000 or $6,500 per mile. In your packet, there's a list of projects that I'm recommending for approval.
Can we have a motion to approve and then discussion?
Yeah, I would like some discussion.
Very good. Are you going to do a motion?
I'll do a motion to
Okay.
approve
I'll second.
for discussion.
Discussion.
Okay. David, how did you come about with these certain roads?
Mainly based on 2016 traffic counts, the highest traffic counts.
So these are the highest traffic counts.
Yes.
And because I notice in here that their 206th Street is 2 miles.
Which road are you?
K32 Golden is a quarter of a mile. Now, really? A quarter of a mile?
Correct. And that would go along with the Golden Road project. That would tie into that. I don't know if you're familiar with that road, but Golden Road
No.
runs parallel to K32 down in that area, and it's like a quarter mile to the south. There's a lot of homes down there. We get a lot of complaints down in that area along those little stubs and
So the
along
people
Golden
that
Road.
don't complain don't get any dust abatement.
Well, we're basing this on traffic counts. So our high traffic roads are what we're trying to address first.
But you just said these people on this quarter of a mile are complaining. And so,
No, not necessarily the people that live on that stretch, but just that area in general. These are based on traffic counts.
right, I know you keep saying that, but how could you have much of a traffic count on a quarter of a mile? I mean, it has to be the people that live on that quarter of a mile.
No, it's people that turn off K32 down that road and then go elsewhere down in that general area. It's not just the houses on that quarter mile section of road that travel that quarter mile.
Anything else?
No, no.
Yes, Doug.
I don't quite understand that. how you come about this.
We'll get a little more understanding.
Yeah, we're not supposed to understand, I guess.
You have to be happy, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, that district's got more gravel roads than anybody, and it's growing.
Well, if you look at it, almost all the roads are in the 3rd district.
Yeah, that's true.
We're 50 miles behind the 1st district, so Louis pretty much got his wiped out now with all the roads that got done this year.
I've got 50,000 people in my area.
How are you coming up with that?
All of Leavenworth and all of Lansing.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't found too many gravel streets in Leavenworth.
Yeah.
You've got some gravel out in your district in Lansing area, but I think we've knocked out about 5 miles this year.
But that's all right. 50,000 people, they pay, that's the majority of the sales tax. They're the ones paying the money. So, do you have anything against it?
No, I think that this is a good program. I mean, what it costs to do the deficiencies and ratings and all that is way cheaper than design. And
all these people get this dust abatement for nothing. Doesn't cost them a thing.
Didn't cost the folks in Lansing area anything either.
But if I want dust abatement, I got a dust patch in front of my house. I paid for it myself.
You did? I don't know what the traffic count is on your road, though.
Well, there's a lake.
There is, yeah. You do have high traffic. I'll give you that. Yes, you do.
So,
because I went to the fishing derby.
I'm just using that as an example.
Right. And I don't know what the traffic count is, but you probably do have a high traffic count. I know you did the day of the fishing derby.
I know I did.
Shall I go? And I guess that's how it is. And associates, how many bids did we go out for?
We received 3, we put out an RFQ, and we received 3 responses to that RFQ.
Okay, and they were low?
Well, we did it as an RFQ. So an RFQ is a request for qualifications.
Request, and you know, we're going to that. That tends to bother me sometimes. That we're throwing qualifications in there instead of, he's going to retire and he's going to get into construction, but he doesn't have any qualifications. So somebody who's working their little fanny off can never get involved because they don't have qualifications. That's just a point that, and it goes more and more to that as years go by. We weed people out because they don't have the qualification. Good, bad, but I'm happy. I got 1 mile out of the whole deal. So I really don't care about you, Bob. You didn't get, but I'll be willing to give you Michael's for your dust patch. Or to entice the city of Leavenworth to run Shawnee Street up to 2,000 to 3,000 acres up there. That's in the school district.
So maybe
you got 1 mile.
Yeah, and you're upset over that.
You got 127th Street.
No,
you
this is next year's.
Well, I'm just saying you already got your roads this year.
Well, I should have got them.
And we never approved a map like this last year for that. We approved it this year.
That's how much we have progressed.
That's right.
We have done so many miles, and I sure hope people appreciate that.
Let's ramp it up even more.
I may have had another question.
Give me a red pen, and I'll show you some other roads that need to be done.
I don't like red dots. No, red dots. There was one other thing in here that I think, one other thing. Let's go through it quickly, wherever the yellow is. Maybe there wasn't one. There was one, but I didn't like it. No sense bringing that up for conversation. Okay. The consultant will utilize industry standards. I think our dust control is not totally industry standards, including ASHTO. That always bothers me.
Bothers me too.
Will this increase the price? Yes. There's one road out there that we're doing right now that's going to be 1.3 million, and I don't think, or 1.2 million, I don't think it has to be there. Can't think of which one it is.
Well, 207th Street was done that way.
Yeah, 207th Street. I think all the roads that we're thinking about doing under industry standards, including ASHTO, need to be re-looked at, because was 155th done under ASHTO?
155th, the one that we just completed? No, it was not. There was
Now,
no
someday it
engineering,
will
there was
be.
no engineering work done on that road.
Right, someday there will be, won't there? Yeah, we'll go down and redo 155th Street. Not in anybody's lifetime here, probably, but it'd be redone, and there'd be curbs and gutters and all that. So I think we need to reconsider some of those.
Point of clarification on that. These roads aren't going to be done and constructed to ASHTO standards. They're being constructed to our dust abatement standards. The review by the engineering firm, they'll utilize the deficiency review. This is for the deficiency review. For liability reasons, we have to conduct that. They will review it based on the ASHTO standards or the national standards.
So they're going to review it under ASHTO standards.
Right, but it's not being constructed under that. They're going to review it and say, here's where you would be deficient on this road, and that's for a liability issue.
And that's good, because, that lines us up for a beautiful lawsuit.
No,
It
they will
protects us
sign
from-
it accordingly.
Yeah.
It will be
I was
the
gonna
warning
say,
signs,
if they
the
don't sign
necessary
it accordingly,
signage.
then they put us under the rock.
You better believe it.
But if you sign it
So I
like
think-
it's supposed to be.
I think,
you're
and it
covered.
sort of sounds like, I think there's some roads that need to be reconsidered. Personal opinion, I want to get as many roads done in the north end of the county and the south end of the county,
Aye.
and the few that I have left.
You don't have too many. I think you got
But it's gonna
Mr.
change,
Shimke's
see?
left, and that's
It could-
about it.
It could change in the near future anyway. So I would like a consensus here to have those roads either brought to our attention. Which ones are they? I think there's 5 or 6 that we're doing. Nothing
Probably
against,
closer to-
nothing against your
I think we have
process.
approximately 10 that we are currently designing.
Okay, are in
About 10
design.
miles, yes.
Do they all need to be in design? Can't be out of design?
My opinion, yes, they do. But the
Okay.
board can direct us to look at them as dust abatements if that's what the board so desires.
So I'd like a consensus to direct them. If they come out of it totally saying, no, it has to be. I think of the motorcycle accident out there where guy had 8 hours on a motorcycle and he kills him. No, he didn't kill himself. He put him in a position, he's in a wheelchair the rest of his life. We won't go into the history of that, and the county lost because we don't have a motorcycle class to teach you how to ride a motorcycle, take curves. So I'd like a consensus that those roads be looked at. I get one nod. How about you?
The ones that David's currently working on that are
Yeah.
in design,
Mhm.
do we have that list?
I don't have that list with me. We can
I
bring
mean,
that back.
yeah, but I mean, it's
Discuss.
Well, he can.
traffic count. I'm sure the ones you're designing's got a really high traffic count.
Well, I mean, the ones we're proposing today have high traffic.
Right.
So
Well,
any road is eligible for dust abatement as long as we do, the key for us is do the deficiency review so it's signed properly.
okay.
So if the board wants to do all these as dust abatements, we can, but we have to do the deficiency reviews on them.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Did we
What do you
it?
got? You got 251st, you got 2...
There's 214th, there's 163rd, 166th, McIntyre Road, 235th Street.
You doing Kansas Avenue too?
No,
214th in Kansas?
that's on this list.
Yeah.
See, the procedure would be very easy if department heads would be in agreement occasionally and say, yeah, we'll do that. And that way you can get that portion of it done, because was 127th deficiency? Was a report done on that?
No, we did that as a maintenance project.
Well, let's call these maintenance programs instead of dust improvement. How about,
The thing is, we're
how
gonna be
about
hiring,
Gillum?
there's only so many that we can do in-house. If we're gonna do this many if the intent is to do this many or even more in 1 year, then we're gonna have to be bidding these out for construction.
Bidding out is fine. I don't think Geiger or Baker or
Pennies.
any of them will complain. So it's a consensus that we'd like you to review it
Just
and bring it, Say
One
again?
more question.
Yes, sir.
Are any of these like within the 3-mile radius of the city limits to where the city would have maybe some say in this on the standards?
There are definitely some within 3-mile limits of our cities, for sure.
Okay, and can the city tell you what standard they would like to see in that 3-mile radius?
I don't believe so.
I guess we could ask.
That's more for development.
Ask and
of
see if
property.
the city'd be willing to contribute to some of these
Well, they
roads.
could look at it. I have that on the roads. I have that on the overall plan, that what do you call it, plan we're going to be looking at here, a master plan. I think that should be passed to the cities. I think that those things should be passed to the Port Authority. We need a marketing group. Who should be our marketing group? LCDC? They should be looking at these. Let's get the committees that are free. Let's get them involved because they have an insight. So, but it's a consensus. So if you would do that for us, we would appreciate that and pass it through your county administrator.
Like I said, I'd like to see the city have some involvement.
Yeah, I
say
agree with
in
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll contact each city and see if they have.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay.
Well, we
We
still
got to
need
vote on this.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, sir.
How do you vote, Bob?
Need a
Aye.
motion.
Aye.
I thought
Oh, you
Bob
did.
made a motion, we seconded.
Well,
the
yeah, I
discussion.
made the motion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I ask him how he votes?
Yes, sir.
and I voted
Okay.
aye.
Aye.
Aye. I love it. Okay. Next item. Brunson Builders for a design build update of EMS station number 2.
All right. Public Works is requesting approval to proceed with the scope of work provided by Brunson Builders for the update of the EMS station located in Tonganoxie, Kansas at the old annex. Brunson Builders was selected as the design build contractor for updating the station. Brunson Builders has submitted a base price for the scope of work of $115,277. Mr. Miller has requested options 1 and 2 on the scope be included, along with some additional asphalt work to the parking lot on the west side of the building. These additions increased the project cost by $34,614. Public Works will provide the dumpster, saving us a couple $1,000s on that. So Public Works is requesting a total project budget of $150,000. An additional optional item would be to redo the entire parking lot. The estimated cost to do that would be an additional $80,000 if the board would like to proceed with that also, and that would be bid as a separate project.
I'll entertain a motion here.
I'll make a motion that we approve scope of work from Brunson Builders to design build for EMS station at 425 Lamming Road, Tonganoxie, Kansas.
Second?
Second,
Under discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I see something there.
yes.
Go ahead.
Well, when we found the current building down there that the treasurer's in, the sheriff's in, that building was twice the square footage as the EMS building. But yet, when I proposed this to the board at that time, I said we could sell off the EMS building because we have so much room up at the new annex. But they didn't see it that way. They said, no, we'll keep both buildings. So now we have to keep both buildings, and it's costing us more money, but we have twice the square footage. So I don't understand.
Have you visited down there and seen what's all in there now?
Oh, yeah. You buy a building and I'll tell you,
Well,
that's like you do a
we
field
had-
and build a baseball and they will come.
I know,
Now,
but
you
we
build a
had
building
so
and they will
much
come.
equipment, the emergency management had that was stored outside. I mean, this is very expensive equipment. There's the tower's in there, and he's got all kinds of trailers and stuff stored in there.
You know what? Just a point of reference, I would have moved all that into the EMS building. That doesn't need air conditioning and all that, does it?
It wouldn't have fit.
Why wouldn't it?
The trailer's too long.
And he needs a trailer that long?
It's got a tower and a radio control room and all that.
Yeah, it's nice just to spend money. But I agreed with you, and I was here.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a vote.
Evidently I didn't get a vote either.
Yeah, so. But it was.
I just wanted to make that point,
Right.
that we have twice the square footage
Right.
in the new annex as was in the old annex.
And you probably is not room in there to get Jamie's staff car in there. So
Well, that's important there.
that's right.
But we could have built just a little lean-to off to the side to put the massive.
And this the new annex on the south side
Mm-hmm.
can be expanded to the south and add extra footage onto that building. It's,
I think the
because I
parking
checked
lot,
into,
I know, but I think the parking lot probably is the thing that needs expanded down there in the future.
every time I've been down there, of course, I'm not down there
Right,
a lot.
right. Well, I am. That's
Yeah.
why I see it. I mean, at 8 o'clock, before 8 o'clock in the morning, there's people standing waiting to get in there.
Yeah.
And the parking lot's full.
But what I'm saying is we have the land to expand the new annex to the south by taking out the south wall and moving it back. And we could save a whole building. And it's up there on a corner. It could be for Tonganoxie. It could be maybe they put a restaurant in up there. Something that would bring more people to Tonganoxie. It would make more taxes for Tonganoxie. I'm just saying that it's something I think I wanted to bring it up before we go to all this expense to
Well, let me add a little bit and then you can come back. How's
Okay.
that? I did like the fact that you said rebid on the asphalt.
I didn't say.
You said you were going to bid it.
The additional
Bid
asphalt
it's-
would be bid as a separate project.
Yes, bid is a separate project. Okay, thank you. I look at, in this building, now what's this building used for?
It's the EMS station.
How many handicap do we have in EMS now? People. So but we're going to put new handicap wall hung sinks. Is that for the future or what is that for?
Being
Required.
be in compliance,
Compliance with what?
ADA.
ADA. Here you go. Here's an order. Here's an order. What are the 10 Commandments? I think that's an order.
Well, they used to be in the
Bedrooms.
courthouse. I could.
Bedrooms. Male and female. You mean a guy can't sleep in a bedroom with a female and not want to hanky-panky around? What is wrong? It's not his job to go there and her job and mess around. We just spend more and more money. Is that ADA? Separate bedrooms?
No, I don't think that's ADA is.
I don't know. Could be. It's just, I think we expedite a lot. Let's get it done. Megan was just here. That report's due today. How can you get a report? I see it at city levels. Report's due today. Oh, okay. And you sign it. Can't that get here a week or two early?
I believe this has been discussed for about a year.
Longer.
Yeah, but the final thing is
The
here.
final draft
Right.
is here.
And let's go back a year. I don't
Okay,
think I was here a year ago.
I was.
I was.
Yeah. So what are you guys doing? No, I'm
We
just playing.
approved it to move forward.
Okay, and move forward.
We approved it to move
And
forward
Bob's
as
got
a
some,
design
and
build.
move forward. And Bob's got some questions and I've got some questions.
That's fine.
So, and I agreed at the time that the one building should have been utilized. Now, I would still prefer to see EMS in the big building
That's all right. I
and
mean,
add.
I just wanted to bring it up.
Add a little lean-to to get the massive trailer and antennas so we can go out and sit in the middle of Kansas or wherever we come with our EMS and they can communicate with the whole world. So, sure for Bob, you do with what you want and we'll go from there.
Well, it's,
And I hate to do this to Brunson because
they're a good company and
and they've done good work for me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Well, he's got to be an efficient contractor. He makes sure he's got two things to come to the board
mhm.
on the same day.
Yeah, let's, okay. So, is there any changes you want to look at before we sign this, or?
Well, I think we have to make a motion.
I made a motion to
Yeah.
Approve
approve it.
this.
Right.
Okay?
I'll second it.
No, you made the motion, he seconded it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
For clarification, is that for just the base bid or the base bid and the optional entire parking lot?
Well, you're going to do on the option, you mean on the asphalt?
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to go out for bids, right?
Only if the
Well,
board,
there's
Only if the
still
board
one
directs
and
us
two.
Okay, yeah, with the second,
Right.
the first option.
But the 80,000,
Yeah, that's
that's a separate
separate
bid.
bid.
so the motion, the way I understand it, the motion and second that's on the floor right now is for the 150,000 that we requested to finish the project.
Right.
The 80,000 is a separate item. If you wish to consider that, you can. But
Well-
for now,
Back to discussion.
Yeah.
When he's talking about adding the stone down at the base of the building, the $16,000, it's a pretty important deal because when they go in there and treat the parking lot, they bounce salt and stuff on that. It gets up against that tin and rusted out. And if you look at that building now, the tin's pretty rusty, if I'm not mistaken.
Does create,
Around the bottom.
It does, so I mean.
that's salt, that does it. You put it
Yeah,
on the
right,
roads.
but we gotta have the parking lot treated with the ambulance going out full speed.
Full speed.
That's right.
No, they're doing real good, aren't you? Because
All right.
I'm clocking them.
All right, but anyway, I think that the added $16,000 for the stone to be down at the base of the building to keep the tin from rusting is worth it.
It'll work as long as they seal the top where the
I'm sure
rock
they
is.
will.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will.
Okay.
It'll work better than salt just eating it up from the bottom up.
Yep, that's true.
That's my opinion.
It's a good opinion. Yep. So, it's been moved and seconded for I guess the one addition to it, because they're going out for bids on the other one. So, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 Now, do we want to have Public Works, look at moving all that storage stuff back to the EMS Building 1 and reconsider everything? Your thought?
I guess I would have to know if they have room in there. Have they already filled it up with other things?
You should go down and look at it. It's full. And it's very expensive equipment being stored inside.
Yeah, I know it. And I'm sure they bring it out every so often and recycle the motors and
Yes, sir, they
change the
do.
oil.
They do.
Well, that's good.
Absolutely.
So, okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more. Did you or did planning bring the item I asked you to bring?
That request was passed on to planning, that's all.
So did you bring the,
I am not sure what item we're talking about, Commissioner Clint.
well, would you communicate to planning what was talked about that I asked Public Works to bring? I didn't ask planning. So.
Well, Public Works wouldn't have that record.
You've got the book. You've got the book. That's all I asked for.
Lots of people have the comp plan from 2008.
All I asked for was the book.
Mr. Clint asked for the cost of the 2008 comp plan.
I believe it's $25 for a copy of it.
No.
Cost.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. I will find out.
I don't know, but I'll find out.
I will find out.
Were you in the military?
No, sir.
Oh, I don't know, sir, but I'll find out. And it was asked for a reason.
I understand.
And it'll be too late, so it's no big deal. All it was something to look at, because we're going to talk about a master plan. Okay. Next item is Leavenworth County case number DEV 17-141, DL Granite Designs LLC, special use permit, home remodeling and light construction sales.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. This is case number DEV 17-141, an application for home remodeling and light construction sales special use permit for DL Granite Designs. On May 29, 2018, the board was presented this case, voting 3-0 to remand case DEV 17-141 back to the Planning Commission for further review. July 11, 2018, the Planning Commission voted 7-0 with 1 absent to recommend approval of case number DEV 17-141. The applicant is present to answer any questions you may have, as are we.
Okay.
The question I want to ask, you've got down here noise levels, and it says the staff has added, that the public has complained that the noise levels that could be here, and you put it down to 60 decibels. Who's going to check that on occasion? I mean, you can't just check it one time and say, oh, it's all right. It's going to have to be checked on a...
Yeah, Commissioners, in the past, first I would like to make note that Krista did go out one day, and at the property line, she went out to the property line with a decibel reader, and you could not hear anything at the property line, and Mr. Lungu had everything going. So then they went to, I believe, within 30 feet of the front of the shop, and it was measured at around 25 decibels. We don't make a point to go out regularly. However, if a neighbor calls and says, hey, it's really loud out here, we will go out at that point. That's how we have handled those situations before. We'll go out and we'll do a decibel reading, and if he's in violation, then we'll proceed accordingly, and if he's not, then we'll make documentation of it.
Anything else, Bob, or we can come back to you?
Yeah, just...
Doug?
I don't have anything.
Well, mine is housekeeping. Line 701 abstains. Another place. One abstain. I needed to go to the one-room schoolhouse with Bill New and some other people where they learned mathematics or something's wrong there. I don't know what, there was a memo from Chuck McGaha. He thinks there ought to be a sign. Within, I don't don't know, within and goes together, but that's all right. I've made my mistakes. In the facility be posted. And he also says a weather alert radio. That's been my suggestion for years. Anybody living in the county has a weather alert radio, whether they listen to it or not. You can't hear the sirens. That's a big expense, but it's just spending money for the siren. People on page 1 of Krista McGaha, do you know her? Access 24 hours a day. I don't know why that was put in there. It had to do with, I think, access to the property. He wants a fire hydrant. They have a fire hydrant. You know that? They got a pool. That's better than a fire hydrant, let me tell you. Pool's good. There was a comment up here, obnoxious and unsanitary conditions. Even when I'm off board, I'm gonna have to go down there occasionally and ask for permission. I wanna see what obnoxious and unsanitary conditions are in a small business. There was one in here under a comment by a board member, their board member of the planning board, which is all right. They've been, as you know, I am pro-business, but at some point in time, we do have industrial parks, and we have to start forcing people into them. I don't know what business is out there. Let's go into the industrial park in Leavenworth. You know what the charge was per acre when it was sold? Ungodly. I don't think this business could afford that. Now, supposedly, they're giving the land away to a degree. They're making it easy for people to get it. Another motion, 6-0, to approve, 1 abstained. Can we get some consistency to how many board members are we short 1 board member?
Yes.
Whose district?
I believe that's your district, sir.
My district. You're going to be short 1 board member for eternity. People, it's hard to get people.
I understand.
We love the abuse. You can't get volunteers to take abuse. So, do you have anything? No, sir. Do you want to come back to anything?
No.
It says we must open this to a public hearing required, so I'll open this to a public hearing. Is there anybody who wants to talk against it? That makes you mad, doesn't it? Nobody talk against it? You want to talk in favor of it?
Good morning, gentlemen. Chip DeMoss, 16582 Douglas Street, Bay, sir. I'm Mr. Moon's attorney. I appeared with him last time. We're just here, obviously, because you've heard the whole scenario last time. We're just here to answer questions. At the Planning Commission, as you know, the first time it was sent back, well, they rejected it the first time or recommended against it. Planning Department went through and answered all the questions. I think there were a couple things that were raised at the last Planning Commission meeting. I don't know if they got in much detail here. A couple concerns were, one was dust. Mr. Lugo got up and explained that all his saws are wet saws, so it keeps the dust down. Secondly, then somebody questioned about what happens with that water with the dust in it, and he says it goes into a holding tank, and he has a company come out and pump it out like a septic type of company or something like that. So I don't think there's any issues left, but we're here if there are any questions or something like that, and answer anything else for the colleague.
That's something that happens always. Russia was not complaining, any form of complaint they ignored. And the people came and spoke. The older lady said that she can go to sleep. like this doesn't operate as 5-story. So that was, and the access to the property. I personally called the Monroe County emergency responders, and they got the gate code,
Right.
and they have access to my property anytime. And the gate is open on the hours of operation.
So you made one mistake. You said older ladies. When you reach a certain maturity, you don't talk about old. Okay?
He's still young, he had research.
Yeah. More mature. Okay? You have any questions of them?
No.
No?
Staff answered.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. We'll close the open session of the meeting. Does somebody want to do a motion?
I'll do a motion. I make a motion that we grant, let's see, case number DEV-17-141, special use permit, home remodeling and light construction sales, public hearing.
Could I interrupt
Has
for
been-
1 second? We asked for a 10-year instead of 5-year.
Is this his first time to?
What did
I think we only give 5 years for the first.
What did staff recommend?
I think at the lower level, they can only recommend 5.
5 years.
Once again?
5.
5. You know, we do review them. And if all of a sudden a neighbor comes in and says, hey, they're making a lot of noise, and you tiptoe out there and sneak out there and hide behind the fence post, and we got your decibels, and hey, you're too loud. I've really never, in my almost 9 years, never seen anybody violate the code. Nobody. So there needs to be nothing wrong with 5, make that consistent. But it's 5 one time, 10 the next time.
Well,
That's what we've been doing.
generally, the first time they ask for a special use permit, we approve 5 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, then they can, next time they come back and then have no complaints, there's no,
So he's got 3.5 years left,
right.
because he's been in business a year and a half.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
That includes 5 years. Everybody happy with 5 years on? You want to add that to your motion?
I'll add that to my motion.
You add that to your second?
I'll second it.
How do you vote?
Aye.
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 Very good. Now you can open up, back up and start. Oh, no, you're already open. Okay.
Oh, what's the resolution? What's the number?
Yes, we got to have a resolution.
2017.
2018-16.
Oh, 2018-16 is the.
Well, I'm going to say that somewhere should be on this form.
It's on your agenda.
It's on the agenda aspect. Okay. But this is what we're reviewing. It would be nice to have it on there also, so we're not,
I don't prepare one.
yeah, simple household thing. So it's case number DVP 17-141?
Correct.
But there's a resolution, where does that say that?
Right here.
The last item after closed public hearing, the next item says consider a motion to approve resolution 2018-16 authorizing a special use permit for DL Granite.
Okay, per resolution 28, yeah, see?
Yeah.
But that'd be simple if it was all in a line so we can perform a little bit professionally.
Well, sometimes when they prepare these, the planning and zoning do not know the resolution number. That's assigned when it comes up.
Yes, I know that.
So
But if
that's
we're
why
going to have
it's-
a resolution later,
That's why it's on the agenda
Yeah.
to follow.
very good. I'm sorry we had you create a fumble there, Bob, so I don't know what you're going to do a motion on. There we go.
I'll make a motion to consider a motion to approve the resolution 2018-16, authorizing special use permit for DL Granite.
I'll second it.
Moved and second. How you vote?
Aye.
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 Very good. Okay, the next item, and there'll be a resolution on this also, right? And it's written on here somewhere, but I'm just looking at this right now, so that's why I have him do the resolution, or the motion, so he can fumble, and I don't have to fumble, okay? Leavenworth County case number DEV-18-055, special use permit, Contractor Yard, Brunson Builders, public hearing required. Okay? So, and it was 7-0, one abstained, and that was out of my district, right? Because I don't have somebody on the board. By the way, have we ever heard of anybody that's interested? Do you know? Yeah. God, I even offered, $1,000 meeting and nobody's taking it up.
Does it, being it's, you can't find nobody, does it have to be from 2nd District? Can it be from another district?
We do have some flexibility. We're required to have a certain representation,
Yeah.
but I do believe when I asked Mr. Joseph this, he did say that we have adequate representation in that area, so we would be allowed to fill it with somebody from one.
Yeah, somebody may come along. They still got, they're still passing things. 7-0, abstained. I don't know how you do that. 7-0, abstained.
Absent. One's absent, not abstained. There was an abstention.
Oh, absent. Thank you very much. Appreciate
that. On the last
that.
item, there was an abstention. That's
Yeah.
where you saw the 6-0, one abstained, and there should have said one absent.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Chairman and Commissioners, this is case number DEV 18-055, an application for a renewal of a special use permit for a contractor's yard for Brunson Builders. The Planning Commission voted 7-0 to recommend approval of this request. This business has obtained a special use permit in Leavenworth County since 2003. The permit was renewed in 2008 for a period of 10 years. The applicant wishes to renew this permit for an additional 10 years. Brunson Builders is located at 17770 Michaels Road and has continued to operate the same way since 2003. This is a general contracting company which also provides garage door sales and service. There is no showroom on site and it is seldom that customers come to the property. The hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday year-round. The business employs 7 employees, 2 of which reside on the property. 2 employees typically drive to the property each day, while 3 usually drive straight to the work site. There is generally 1 employee in the office on the property during working hours. The business averages 2 to 3 deliveries a week. Work is performed off-site. This business produces minimal noise on the property. There's a gravel parking area in front of and behind the shop. Equipment is typically parked behind the shop and is not visible from the road. Chemicals, if present, are stored in a designated cabinet. This waste is disposed of by Universal Lubricants. Oil is stored in a 55-gallon drum and is usually picked up by the county shop to burn in their heater. Otherwise, it is also disposed of by Universal Lubricants. Staff recommends approval of case number DEV 18-055, special use permit for a contractor's yard for Brunson Builders, subject to conditions. The applicant is present to answer any questions you may have, as are we.
You want to open it first, or you want to? Hi, David. What's the board? You want to open it first, or you want us to have our discussion?
Just do a public hearing.
Yeah.
We'll just do a public hearing.
Open.
Public hearing, very good. Anybody to speak against it? Nobody here to speak against it? I don't know why Dave is up here to speak in favor of it.
Just here to answer any questions.
Very good. That was good. Board members, do you have any questions?
I read through the
He's been here
briefing
a long
report,
time.
and there's nothing.
Can I get into housekeeping again? Thank you.
Well, if you read through your briefing report, he's had a special use permit for this since 2003.
Yep. So he gets 20 years.
No, he's asking for 10.
Okay. Again, it's 701 absent, okay? We need to clarify that. Now, it says here, at the bottom of that page, utilities and services. Private septic, Fire District 1. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Fire District 1. And Rural Water District 8.
Water District 5.
Ah, yeah, that's on this page over here. Tim Getz, Water District 5. Is 8 buying 5 out, or is 5 buying 8 out, or what is he?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
So, a little more concentration. Appreciate that. And on, this is my favorite page, memo to Chris Dunn from Chuck McGaw. That's all I'll say on that. Okay. I'll close the public meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve a special use permit, Contractor's Yard, case number DEV 18-055 for Brunson Builders for the amount of 10 years.
Second.
Okay. Been moved and seconded. How you vote?
Aye.
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 And now, consider a motion to approve resolution 2018-17. There you go.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2018-17.
Second.
How do you vote?
Aye.
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 See how smooth that one ran? That was good. I gotta get down there and get that DLT though. And I guess I'd start advertising for other businesses, you know. Today will be tomato soup down at Pullman's. And I'll start advertising around this county. We have some very good restaurants. Okay, the next item is Kennel is last. Okay, case number DV-18-059, an application for a special use permit for Sands Construction. And the Planning Commission voted 7-0, 1 absent. Okay, the math again. To recommend approval. We'll open it up to a public hearing. Anybody here to speak against it? Very good. Will you come forward, give your name, address, data rank, and serial number? Oh, no, that's something different.
Good morning. My name's Randy Herman, 25040 Terrace in Leavenworth. Excuse me. I'm a resident of Woodridge Estates, which is a subdivision that's located to the west of Tonganoxie Road and the other side of where this special use permit has been requested. I'm not going to talk about what I would call obvious physical effects of the special use permit. I'm going to talk about a couple bigger issues that I think affect me personally and probably the subdivision as a whole. First of all, that subdivision was created out there. It's got 25 owners of property in there. They bought, or at least the majority of the people out there, I believe, bought that property because it's a rural, residential, agricultural subdivision. That was a selling point for that subdivision. That's why people bought out there. They did not want to go out there and be across the street from a commercial business operation. And that's in essence what this special use permit does. That's my first point. So the question I would have is, if we're going to do that, you know, maybe we need to consider rezoning as opposed to what it is now, which I believe is rural, residential, and agricultural. The second point that's more important probably is how is a special use permit going to be monitored? I've been in business and run business for over 20 years, and I know that if I went to my owners and told them I had a 5-year plan and my 5-year plan didn't show any growth or expansion in it, they would have fired me. And what I suspect will happen is Sands Construction is a company that will probably want to grow. So what happens when they get more equipment, more people? How do they expand into that special use permit? And I would imagine that that would probably happen certainly within a 5-year period. And what I fear is that these special use permits have a tendency to want to grow. That just seems to be the way it is. Can't prove that. That's just my gut feeling on it. But there's 25 owners of property out there, and the majority of us bought the property because it was a rural agricultural area, and you know, we weren't going to have to contend with business and commercial enterprises. And I guess the last issue that affects all that, when you put all those things together, what I would be concerned about as a property owner, what does that potentially do to the value of my property? I personally bought that property out there because it's larger lots. I can put up the size of house that I want, and I'm now concerned if we have a business enterprise out there that it may decrease the value of my property. Thank you.
Okay. You have any questions? Tom?
No, but I understand what he's talking about. I do. I really do.
Yeah. You have any questions?
There's 25 people that bought property out there.
What was it originally out there?
Farm ground.
Rural agricultural.
Rural
they came out and imposed on, nothing personal, but you came out and imposed on the rural agricultural. There's never been anything but rural agricultural, and as it advanced, as the city limits advanced, and they were able to use the facilities, then we had a sewage flow. We're not on septics. I agree with most of what you said. But I think subdivisions have had a bad equation of adding expense to us taxpayers when it could have gone in a proper direction, but we didn't originate it. And so once it's originated, you put in a subdivision, put in 25 houses, put a subdivision in over here, and you put 10 houses, you know, but those subdivisions are adding extra expense, whereas if it had been at city limits, you know, Leavenworth wouldn't be building subdivisions. They'd be going in there and removing all those old houses. Sewer's right there. And we're getting ready to pay $84 million to do the, of course that's stormwater. That's not getting into, so I agree with your point, and I appreciate that. Being in small business, I know you cannot go out and afford the land, but somewhere, and I would hope these LCDC, and when they're getting friendly to people of a certain size business, they also kind of try to be friendly to a smaller business. You know, we give TIFs and BIFs and RIFs and DIFs to all the big boys, but we don't give anything to the little boys. And they work just as hard, so. But I appreciate you. You had very good comments. Are you here to speak in favor or against?
Just a comment about it. Glenberry District 1. My only thought process is when people build a house out in a subdivision that's been placed out in the middle of the county, they want to live in that rural community. That's what they say. But the guy that owns that farmland right behind your subdivision or right next to it or across the street, he's a farmer. What happens if he decides to put 150 hogs across the street in your house?
Nothing you can
That's
do about
a farm.
it. Nothing.
That is farm ground, and we all want to live out there in that farm ground unless it inconveniences inconvenience our thought process of what country living is. Country living is smelling money. And a hog farmer and a cattle farmer will tell you that's what that smell is, it's money. So if a small business wants to have a special use permit to open up out in the county, I think it's a beneficial thing. I don't think we can take that same small business and tell him he's going to grow astronomically in 5 years. Maybe he doesn't plan on that kind of growth. Maybe he wants to make it a small hometown business. Maybe only family and a few friends will be employed by him. If he grows, then he's got to come back to you and ask for another special use permit. And at that time, you have to say, well, hey, your business is really taking off. We think we're going to have to do something different here. But that's just my thought. When you move to the country, you get to live with country living.
Yeah. Do we always initially look at that rezoning? That's the important part.
Sure. Yeah, so commissioners, that is an option. One of the issues though with rezoning property.
No, not with rezoning. If he's doing commercial on that residential site, is he now rezoned or re-qualified tax-wise?
I believe so. I can't answer those questions intensely.
That needs to be followed. I don't. A believing is not.
They're made aware that there's a special use permit for a commercial operation.
Could you check on that? All these special use permits need to be classified for what they are. They're not residential.
Correct.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there storing boats and campers and all that, and I know some people in the business that have high taxes, and they're out there storing in their barns. So, and you're going to have to get a story. You ever want to get out of church, go visit a hog farm with your wife sitting in the car, and then you come back out of one of the hog buildings, and she says, we can't go to church today. Well, why can't we go to church today? You smell like hog. So that's a good way to get out of church. I never thought of that early in my life, but it was a worthwhile event. No, it wasn't. Okay, anybody want to talk in favor? Yes. Come up and identify yourself. And
my name's Rita Dekarski. I live at 25172 176th Street. I'm right across the street from the Sands. I've never met them because they're not very neighborly. In fact, the only notice that I had of this meeting or anything going on was a sign in their front yard. Had they been neighborly and come over and asked or talked to somebody in our neighborhood, we might have had a different feeling. Mm-hmm. But to me, the traffic, I own right across the street. I also own 17 acres behind my house that I might put hogs on. I'm not in favor of this because of the traffic, because of the traffic that's already on Tonganoxie Road. We have a lot to deal with. The noise factor bothers me. Everybody says, oh, there's no noise, there's no noise. I'm there all day long, and there is noise there. There's traffic there all day long. So, yes, it bothers me. It bothers me my taxes that I pay with 25 houses. We pay a high tax rate for living in the country. And I don't oppose that. I'm not upset about that. I'm upset about my property values with a business across the street.
Ma'am, I'd like to ask you a question.
Yes.
I've been wanting to ask it from several of them. Who did you buy your land from, if you don't mind me asking? Is it? I don't care about the name.
From an individual.
Was he a farmer? Was he a developer?
He built the house for his daughter.
He built the house.
Yes.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is, in order for this development to start, I think a farmer would have had to sold the land to make this happen.
I don't know about that. I do know that I've lived there for several years. My husband passed away 3
Yeah.
years ago. And it's not easy to live there by myself and try to keep a house of that size. But I do have to tell you, this is going to make it harder for me. Because now I'm going to have to sell my house. I can't build on my 17 acres because it's landlocked. Even though we can drive right to it, it's landlocked. So I can't build a smaller house for myself and stay in that community, which I'd love to do. But I've got to stand up on principle. I have to.
There's something for staff. We got a landlocked piece of land. You know? How many do we have out there? Hundreds.
I think there's one on the tax sale coming up.
Well, that'd be the one to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, did you?
Yeah, I'll say something. I'm Kathy Lameau. I live at 25162 176th Street. I'm right next door to Rita. My concern is that his business will grow. It says that he's limited to 12 employees. Does that literally mean he cannot hire additional people? If in time, over 5 years, the property next door is for sale currently, if that was purchased, could the equipment lot be extended in the 5 years if he purchased that property? I just think on precedent, it's not what most of us expected would occur across the street there. It's always been residential, and we'll be watching, and I know lights and noise often occur outside the hours that are stated, and I'll just start documenting when that's occurring.
I saw some head motion. Did you have an answer for one of the ladies' questions?
Yeah, so first of all, before people come in to get a special use permit, we have them sit down for what we call a pre-application meeting, and we walk them through the whole process, and we explain to them that they are, they're asking to use a business use on their property, and we do allow special use permits. As you guys are aware, we have the table of uses that says what you can do in each zoning district. And we explain to them that when you're granted a special use permit, you are being granted a special use permit for what you are asking for. And it's for a specific amount of time. So we say, you might want to think about where your business could potentially be in 5 years so that we can plan accordingly. If you move outside of that, you have to come back to us and we go through the whole process again. If you don't come back to us, like you were asked to do, and we find out about it, then, like I said, there is a process that either the special use permit can be revoked, or we try to work with the property owner, of course. However, so your question about if he were to purchase the neighboring property, could he expand his lot? He cannot do that without coming back to this board. If he does, he is in jeopardy of losing his special use permit, which Mr. Sands is very well aware of, because like I said, in that pre-application meeting, we explain all of these things to them. So when we talk about, oh, well, he's never going to grow or such, or he might grow, he is aware of the limitations of that and was asked to give us information accordingly. And like I said, if he feels he's going to grow outside of that, he needs to come have a conversation with us again.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming up. Anybody else want to comment? We'll close the open meeting, and we'll, you have any discussion, Bob? Anything?
No.
Doug? No, sir. Nope. I'll entertain a motion to either accept or deny, or what's on your mind. Doug, I'll let you do the motion.
All right. I'll make a motion we approve case number DEV 18-059, Contractor's Yard for Sands Construction.
Okay. You want a second?
No.
That's cute. I like it. Okay. I'll second it. Under discussion. There must be some discussion there then.
Well, I realize that this Mr. Sands has the right to ask for it, but there is, like I said, 25 homes there. And if this lady has 17 acres and she wants to raise a hog farm there, she has that right to do it. But at the same time, we can't do anything about her hog farm, but we certainly can do something to kind of restrict some of these businesses to go out there amongst housing. If we're going to, this is down in Tonganoxie, I take it?
Just by the lake.
By the lake?
Yeah.
So it's in the Tonganoxie
Suncatcher
area.
Lake. Bowling Grange area. Bowling Grange area.
Okay.
Just north of the Suncatcher Lake, and that's where they have all the campers.
Yeah, I know where that's at.
Well, I noticed on my map that there was depicted, I guess, 2.01, and that must be the Sands property.
The one that's highlighted, yes.
The lady who just, the more mature lady that voiced, that had a expression, her house is not depicted, I take it, because I don't see anywhere where there would be 17 acres, so it must be further to the, yeah. So it's not depicted on this map.
It might be 502, potentially. I don't know for sure, but
You said hers is which one?
it looks like 5.02 is potentially a landlocked piece of property. That could be, so she might live in one of those properties just to the south.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure, but
Okay, I see it. Yeah, thank you very much. I was just wondering where she was located. Okay.
I have done it.
Oh, yeah, I have the same map, hon. You're right. This is your landlocked.
Correct.
Thank you, dear. Appreciate it. Housekeeping, 7-0. I do like the maps that I can read, and I noticed that one of the commissioners on the planning board, they said in some states there are special use permits and it's perpetual. Unless it comes back and there's a complaint, I'm sure. Saw a statement here that really upset me. One of the planning board members said, then you probably shouldn't be in business. You know how many businesses we have downtown Leavenworth that are people's dreams? Shouldn't be in business. My favorite one's a jeweler store. Lucky he's got a retirement to carry him for years. When he dies, it'll change. So, no, I probably won't. Probably got enough insurance to help anybody who wants to stay in the business. So, a lot of times we do things, say things that have relevancy to our special issue. But in life, you have to have all issues, not just this today, that tomorrow. You have to have all issues and be able to bounce back and forth. I'll entertain the motion, and then we got the motion, and we'll call for a vote. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye? Nay?
Nay.
There you go. Got your vote. Thought it was interesting. You know, we're close to $21 trillion in debt today.
Mr. Chairman, I need to make a motion on the resolution on that.
Okay, very good. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we consider or approve resolution 2018-18
Okay.
for a special use permit for the Sands construction.
I'll second that. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
There you go. But I thought it was interesting, $21 trillion in debt. We pay, and that's coming up on an issue right up here, we pay $1 billion a day interest on $21 trillion. That's what I say, you have to think inside, outside the box, you just got to keep moving around. The guy wants to give free medical to everybody for 10 years, it's $32.6 trillion. Now that's not important to anybody, I guess, but it's important when we go to borrow money and we're going to borrow, let's say 50 million, because we're going to get 97 million on the sales tax. 47 million of that will be interest. But that's the way the system works. So, next item will be a Leavenworth County Board request, case number DEV-18-40, proposed amendment to the 2006 Leavenworth County Zoning and Subdivision Regulations, Article 3, definitions, public hearing required.
Yes, Commissioners. Planning staff has taken a look at our kennel definition. You guys may recall recently that there was some discrepancy in that, and it did not hold up in court because it was ambiguous. I believe Mr. Van Paris could speak more on that behalf. But so staff went and took a look at it, and we worked on a definition that we felt was very clear. It was not ambiguous. That requested definition would change from the current definition. The new definition would state that a kennel is any place, area, building, or structure on any tract smaller than 20 acres or more than an aggregate total of 4 adult dogs, so you can have a total of 4 dogs, more than 1 year old, are kept, boarded, bred, or trained, whether or not for commercial gain, or as pets, or any place, area, building, or structure on any tract 20 acres or more where an aggregate total of 7 adult dogs more than 1 year old are kept, boarded, bred, or trained, whether or not for commercial gain or as pets. So the previous definition is across the board. It doesn't matter if you have 2 acres or 225 acres. The current definition says you can have 3 dogs. If you have 4 dogs, you are supposed to come get a special use permit. So what staff did is we separated between, land size. If you have less than 20 acres, you can have a total of 4 dogs without needing any permission or special use permit. If you have more than that, or you are a kennel or such, you will need to come get a special use permit. And then 20 acres or more, we increase that number to 7. There are plenty of people out there who have large tracts of land that have, lots of dogs as pets that are not operating as kennels in any way, shape, or form. The Planning Commission voted 7-0 with 1 member absent to recommend approval of that case. We obviously recommend approval of it. There is a resolution and a public hearing that's required.
Yes, thank you. Well, let's open it to the public hearing. Anybody here to speak against it? Anybody here to speak in favor of it? Nobody here to speak. We'll close the public hearing.
I'd like to hear from Crystal. She started to get up.
She didn't start
I'd like
to
to
get
hear her thoughts.
She didn't start to get up.
Yes, she did.
No. After I said anybody speak in favor, and everybody just sat there. Nobody moved.
Talk or don't talk.
Crystal, you can always talk. Just don't.
Thank you, sir. Crystal Blackdeer. No. Leavenworth County Humane Society, absolutely in favor of this change. It makes perfect sense. It's in line with surrounding counties, and it's common sense. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. Appreciate it. Okay. Any questions by the board?
So you got 4 dogs, all of a sudden you got 2 of them that have pups, and then you're advertising on Craigslist to get rid of the pups. Are you a kennel now, trying to sell your dogs, or?
Right, so if they're under a year of age, if this is, there are some people who regularly breed their dogs and sell dogs,
Right,
and that is a kennel.
right.
If this is, hey, my dog got in some trouble and now
But
got a litter of puppies that I need to get rid of.
I think there's some people out there that do this, though.
If it comes to our attention and it is, happening on a regular basis, then that person would likely need to get a special use permit.
What is a year of a dog worth in the human world?
It varies on the breed of the dog, the size of the dog. It varies.
An average?
Around 7 years is what people traditionally say, but it varies.
Okay, but that's an average. We could give a dog 3 years, because then he's 21 for the average dog,
But they can breed as young as 4 months.
Yeah.
So now, to answer your question, I think what you're getting at, Mr. Smith, is the breeding operations starting up because of this increase. If you sell or offer for sale 1 or more of 2 or more litters a year, then you have to be licensed by the state, and they have to come in and inspect. So if they have 2 litters a year and sell the pups from those 2 litters, then they don't have to be licensed. But if you sell 1 dog more than that, then you have to be licensed by the state.
Kind of hard to keep track of, though, when people do it.
Oh, believe me, lots of people are watching.
Okay. Well, I hope so.
Every rule is hard to keep track of. What are you talking about?
I hope so.
Yeah, that's what they're hard to keep
And
track
there's
of.
free spay neuter in Leavenworth County. Free.
Very good.
Yeah, that needs
Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate your inputs on. Okay.
Promoted a lot more.
So the public session was closed, but we still, let the minutes show, we still allowed Crystal to have her. Okay. Let's get away from Sam's. Sam's no longer involved here. So I'll entertain a motion. Well, a motion, would you like to do a motion?
I'll go ahead and do that. I'll make a motion that we approve case number DEV 18-040.
Second.
Been moved second. How you vote? Bob?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay, and then I'll entertain somebody do a motion on a resolution.
Make a motion on resolution 2018-19.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
How do you vote?
Aye.
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 Did you see how easy it got going for us after, a little education there?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The next item would be, last but not least, will be presentations and discussion items. And I have some of those, and probably you have some. So if, and I noticed Janet came running back in very rapidly. Did you have something you wanted to?
You had asked for the cost, and Contractor who did our 2008 comprehensive plan.
Yes.
Did go down and get that information for you. I did give it to Mark Relay with the cost of $55,000, and the company was
Oshner, Hair and Hair.
55,000.
That is correct.
And I did receive word yesterday that the engineer occasionally brings that out to look at it. And that's good, it's a guideline. So, thank you for that information. I had asked planning and zoning to bring that forward, but they didn't. Not planning and zoning, public works. You know, it doesn't.
It was easy for me because I had
Yeah.
billing.
Yeah, but, it's when you ask somebody, you don't expect somebody else. They may get the information, and then they can present, you're in error, Mr. Klemp. You shouldn't have asked me, and, I can be disciplined. That's all right. That's not a big deal. But I'd asked them. I met with them. Yeah.
I mean,
I
we
appreciate
sign all of these?
Very good. Okay. Do you have anything you want to bring up, Douglas?
Just said I attended Larry Meadows' funeral last Thursday. It was a large turnout. Spent every day at the fair. Well, no, Wednesday. I did miss Wednesday. Talked to a lot of people. The concerns we dealt with was a lot of people were concerned about the possibility of the 2 mills for the mental health. and collecting, that the county would collect money for the school districts. And
Are they, when you say concerned, you mean they want to do it?
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
No.
Because
I run across the same thing. I was down at the fair.
Yeah, and another big concern was why there was no stripes on the road, on Tonga Road going to the fair.
You know, I think that it's chip and sealed every year. But
Not every year.
Almost.
Every 4 years on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Awful lot of new chip and seal when I go down there. But it is interesting. There was no marks.
Right.
But there were no skid marks, so
no,
we didn't need the marks, I guess.
No, no accident.
Okay. Anything else? I've had that on the list.
You need to sign that. Pass it down.
Oh, I'll be attending Baser's work session tomorrow night.
Oh, good.
6 o'clock.
Very good.
That's all I have.
That's all you have? Very good. Well, let's let Louis Klemp get going here.
I did get the letter from the Department of Corrections.
Okay.
The signatures, if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. Did they say why she had 2 different
She
signatures?
did not explain why she had 2 different signatures, other than there are 70 letters that she does have to sign, so it may have been just a fast writing.
No. Don't, please, Megan, do not alibi for somebody else.
That's what she said on the phone when we called.
Thank you. That's what she said on the phone.
And I did have our advisory board chairman sign the documents as well.
Very good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll sign those later, and Becky will get it to you. You know, we're doing more roads than I think has ever been done. Word's out there, let's borrow money. Let's get it borrowed. I'm pushing for marketing. Hopefully everybody will agree to be our marketeer. We pay them money. LCDC, Port Authority, a lot of things that, and one of them is, I think this request for proposal for a master plan needs to go to them. Let them look it over. For us to do a master plan and leave it sit on the shelf, it doesn't do any good. You're going to do a master plan, there's one thing that restricts Lansing, Leavenworth, Tonganoxie, Baser, maybe not Easton, Linwood, and that is sewage. We have a major problem with sewers.
That's correct.
We cannot do anything really without doing sewers. Now you can put a holding tank, you can do this, you can do that. I went down to a place in Kansas City yesterday, specifically because somebody had said, go down and take a look at this area and see where the houses are built on the hills, built here, built there. I called the person back and I said, well, did you go down the bottom of the hill? Big, long, flat area. He said, no, didn't do that. I said, where do you think their affluent runs? Massive sewer area down there where they had all the concrete and all the iron. That's where it was all going, and they're pumping it somewhere else. For us to do a master plan, and as I say, I think it needs to go to the cities, and let's don't have it, it'll be back to you in a couple months. This is extremely important to Leavenworth County. Now, does the majority of Leavenworth County want to develop and expand? We just had some people in there talking about 25 houses in a subdivision. Is that right to have 25 houses just built out there because I'm the developer and I bought it for, let's say, $5,000 an acre and I'm selling them for $50,000 an acre because I got to make my profit? No, that is not.
But if you have sewers,
yes,
there wouldn't be landlocked 17 acres. There wouldn't be these large lots.
Right, but if the cities look it over and the county looks it over and LCDC all look it over and we say, this is a great idea, let's do it. We need $200 million. I don't know what the figure would be. We can look at Stranger Creek as a flow, where sewers all flow down from the east and from the west. We can look at the K7 and build another facility out there. Lansing can't handle it, but build another facility out there to handle. You're going to end up with pumping stations or lift stations, thank you. But if you're not willing to make a commitment as a group of citizens to what you're going to do in the county, the study is worthless. But I think to build up to it, let these entities look at it, get it back within a certain period of time, preferably in less than 5 months, and then we can make a decision. Do we want to expand the county? Or do 75,000 people, 80,000, 81,000, who knows what it is today, do they not want to expand it and they want to piecemeal it and have, you know, Baser, they have a few openings in their facility. Linwood was brought up yesterday. Linwood is a nice place to start it, and it comes up and the ground gets higher. Somehow there needs to be something to flow the sewage. So,
and I agree that we probably should not allow any more subdivisions with lagoon systems, you know, to develop another sewer district, because we've got several that we're going to have to deal with in the future when it comes to decommissioning.
I totally agree.
We don't want to go through a sewer district 3 deal.
No, and that was, how many years was that deal? Ungodly.
Lots.
Yep.
So,
I think since I've been here.
Bob brought it up, and it's been discussed for years now. But I hear there's going to be a, what do you call it, come out on County Road 1.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't come out, I think that we need to get on down the road and zone it, or what we need to do. But to leave it with a moratorium, to me, that's not.
There was a meeting a couple weeks ago on the group. I did not attend because I'm not on that panel.
Oh, that's right.
So I figured we'd get a report back from that.
I heard it was going to be sometime this week, maybe next week.
That we get a report back from that.
Well, I think next week the proposal to go out for the request for proposals for the master plan for the county, I think that's on next week. That will be on next week's agenda, I believe. The final results on the County Road 1 study, I don't think those are scheduled to come out for a month or two yet. So they've conducted their public meetings. They're compiling the information. I think they still have a
but Bob's
process.
I think he was the last one to sort of make a motion. I think it was a motion that you said that we need to get on down the road and rezone it or do something.
Mm-hmm. I believe we extended the moratorium for another year.
Yeah,
and it's not up. It's not up for a while.
There's no reason to do that.
Well, there would be no reason to lift the moratorium until after the master plan or the study that was done for Corridor 1. I think that's what the discussion was when we extended it, was extend it with the hopes and the goal of getting that completed, which it will be. The study for
what I'm bringing up is extending that. We're not going to have this ready to go. The master plan.
No, this is
County Road 1
County Road 1 has its own program.
You're talking about the County Road 1 master plan.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But you know, how long has that been going on?
The moratorium?
I don't care. The whole
moratorium on County Road 1 was 14 years.
Well, it was the 06 sales tax that passed. So as soon as the road was built in 09, I
Put
believe.
that in before the road was built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the moratorium was. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about over 10 years.
Yeah.
That's not progress. So I think within the next week or so, I think you need to come up with your motion again, and we'll go on down the road. We're extending too much and spending too much time on things that are, to me, because somebody wants to be covered by some operation that's going to say, well, you need to put it off. Well, we shouldn't do it. Or, well, we should do it. So I would like to see that. Now, Christmas is on Tuesday. Did you know that? 25th?
I shouldn't that far ahead.
That's the first time I've ever looked into the future. I'm sorry. I want to apologize to all the people. I usually look back.
Okay. Thanksgiving's on a Thursday.
Yeah, we don't care about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We have to change the 25th, so if staff would work on that, I'd appreciate that. I had written down our county plan. That's our plan. And if we're going to do that, then we need, when we get the reports back from the cities, and hopefully they won't say, well, we'll get to it in a couple months. It's very important because we can make the decision without them. We don't need the city, but we would love to work with the cities. What did I come up to? I had a figure here of 200 and how many millions of dollars that we're getting from the sales tax, the city and the county. Unbelievable what we could do working together. But if we're not going to go forward with it, to do the sewers, no, the water is insignificant. Electric is insignificant. Gas is insignificant. Sewer, that's the one that has to be moved on. And
I agree. You put wastewater treatment plants throughout the county where they're best, and it will grow.
yeah, if that's what is that what the public wants. You know, no, I don't know what they want. It's hard to tell. You brought up some time ago a gentleman by the name of Bixby took some items and took some data from the county. Supposedly the items have been returned. I hear the data has not been returned. Is it your desire to go forward with that or to let it go and never do it again? Because that's what needs to be done. You either go forward with it or let it go and let Mr. Bixby do whatever he has done. But something...
If there's personnel files in his possession, they need to be returned.
Okay. Now, we can take fast reactions, and we do that. So would you like to do a motion to require the county attorney to proceed with bringing those records back if he has them, and give him a
request?
Yes.
I was thanking David, didn't you request them from Mr.
Letter
Bixby?
was sent to former Commissioner Bixby in December of 2017. No response was received.
Oh, okay. So he didn't respond.
No.
But there are legal ways of doing this.
Yes.
Not just letters.
Commissioner, just point of clarification, did you reference county attorney when you intended to reference county counselor?
Yeah, if you want to be that. You can be county attorney if you want.
I've always thought that, Commissioner, but I chose not to.
You're very wise. Yes. County counselor. Thank you very much, David. Kind of been very receptive today, haven't I? Go ahead. So if you would like to do a motion directing him.
I'd like to do a motion to authorize the county counselor to make contact with former Commissioner Bixby about returning any personnel files that he may have in his possession.
Well, I think it's going to die for a lack of second because there's not enough. He's already attempted. He sent a letter. To take the legal actions appropriate would be probably a little bit better.
All right, I'll make a motion that we authorize the county counselor to take whatever action he needs to get back any personnel files in the possession of former County Commissioner Dennis Bixby.
Do we have a time limit on this?
Mr. Chairman, if I might, members of the commission, I can certainly follow up my prior letter to former Commissioner Bixby with a letter requesting some response from him within a specified period of time. I would say 14 days, and then in the lack of any response, in order to protect the county's interest, the county would be forced to initiate civil action against him.
Well, I'd give him 24 hours. I wouldn't give him 14 days. So I think the time is, and not another, we just keep going through and giving more people, how much time do you need? How much time do you need? We've had a case here now going on for what, a year and a half? Because a judge can't make up his legal competence, which he has, to make a decision. And we had been out of this a long time ago.
I wouldn't have had to hire an attorney again.
That's right. Probably money would have been saved.
At least $1 million.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So I think there ought to be no more giving him time. When did you do that first? Year ago?
Not quite. It was December of last year.
Yeah, before my time.
No, he was probably on the board.
No.
Excuse me, Commissioner, I misspoke. The letter would have been sent. Well, a letter has been sent to former Commissioner Bixby with no response.
So I think that we're past the letter now. He's already said, take this job and shove it. And that's, it was simple to reply to it. Yes, I have, and I'll get that information back to you, and he wouldn't bring it all back. Maybe he would bring it all back. So
I think if we've got anybody has personnel files out there, they all need to come back to this where they belong.
Yep.
And I mean, I guess our employees been notified that they need to be watching their identity, credit rating, stuff like that, to make sure their identity's not been stolen.
So do you want to broaden that out to say any employee or ex-employee that has personnel data or and legal action will be taken? What's in a warning?
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, it would take some time to prepare any formal legal action. In as much as there would be that time, I would like to offer former Commissioner Bixby that time period to respond to the request that he either acknowledge he has no, affirmatively state he has no personnel records or property of the county, or effect the return of it.
One thing I'd like to request or suggest, maybe something as simple as a phone call directly to him. I'm sure we have his phone number around here.
Mr. Holland, phone call is direct. There's no means to formally memorialize that unless Commissioner Bixby would agree to have the phone conversation recorded.
Well, you could ask him, do you still have documents that need to be belong to the county? If so, would you return them? If he says, no, I'm not going to return them, or maybe he doesn't have them. I don't know. But what I'd hate to see is to get into another lawsuit.
Well, if he doesn't have them, it's because Channel 41 didn't return them to him.
Well, rather
went on the news
that's
with
true.
him.
So
rather than get into that,
so then we need to go after Channel 41.
you make the motion to make it official. We're going to do something. Bob, you call Dennis and say the board is serious.
I can do that.
Yes.
If the board gives me authority to do that.
I don't have any problem with that. We're not.
But it could be as simple as a phone call.
No.
To get this straightened up.
Phone call won't work.
You don't think it'll work? Well, it's something to try.
Well,
before we get into a lawsuit.
You make the phone call.
Okay.
You make the phone call. I don't have any problem with you making a phone call and saying the board is serious. So let's have a serious motion. And if basically your motion was serious, but I don't think to allow him to have another day to say, I don't think I'm going to do that, or what
I'll
he
do
said.
that today.
Okay, thank you, Bob. So can we have a motion that I will gladly second to, so that we can get on down the line?
What did my motion lack?
A specific timeline.
Okay. I'd say, so we hear something before next meeting?
Sounds good.
I'll add that to my motion.
Okay, David, do you understand what the motion is?
My understanding of the motion is that Commissioner Holland is going to contact Commissioner Bixby, former Commissioner Bixby, by telephone and provide some information to either myself or the board prior to the next meeting.
Or legal action will be taken?
And I can send a letter. I'd prefer to wait for the letter until
Can
after.
I say that to him?
What? Well, yeah.
Legal action will be taken.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have to have, I can't say that on my own
No,
because I don't
legal
have the
action will be
authority.
taken.
But
Yeah.
I can say that if the commission says that.
And will you have the motion drawn up for next meeting for the legal action to be taken?
You mean a petition?
Huh?
You mean a petition to be filed or a motion to approve?
For us to vote on it?
Yes, I can have that.
Yeah.
I will await whatever the information.
Very good.
I'll get
Holland
back with you,
received.
David.
Thank you. That's good. Good. Okay. I think that was it. Now, what are we doing with this planning thing? Is this supposed to be discussed, or is this just, the master plan for Leavenworth County?
That was put in your box so you'd have a chance to review it, but it'll be on an agenda for you to consider. There's nothing to.
Do you know when it's going to be on the agenda? Because I've already.
I believe it's on for next week.
Okay.
We didn't have it this week because Mr. Joseph was out of town.
Very good. Because we have to be mentally thinking, are we going to proceed forward with sewer? That's the first thing. If we're not willing to do anything on sewers.
Well, I think that's the most important part of the plan.
Yep, it sure is.
I mean,
But I would like does anybody have any problems with us forwarding it to LCDC or Port Authority?
No.
And to the cities?
I think that part of the master plan would be involvement of all those entities in the process. The kickstart is that the board willing to move forward with getting a firm to do the master plan.
Well,
That's that. If not, then there's no point in doing any of the other stuff.
that gives us passing that on to the cities before we say, oh yeah, we're going to do this. Passing this on to the cities and those two entities gives us a little more that somebody's willing to get out and make desires that we need to come up with money to do the plan. I don't want it sitting down there with 2008 just sitting down there doing nothing. We have to, now the next group comes in, they may be willing to do that. You can go into any city hall and find or a county and find a planning.
Probably find several books on the shelf of plans, studies
Yes.
that they've conducted and not implemented.
And a lot of good things
Totally
in there,
agree.
but nobody was willing to, let's go out, we need, I don't know what we need for the sewer, but the sewer, the rest of it will take care of itself. I mean, water is simple, unless
Well,
you're arguing with the water board.
I think the sewer is going to have to be put on a ballot. And the people are going to have to vote
But you
whether they
can't-
want to
The thing
pay
with
for it.
the thing I think we're getting ahead of the whole process of the master plan, which is you can't decide who, where, what, or when those things are going to happen without the plan to identify where they need to happen.
I agree.
And so in that process, the way you identify that is conducting the study. The study is what we're going to be bringing forward to the board to consider. Do you want to move forward with soliciting proposals for the study? If the board decides to do that, we will start soliciting proposals. Then we'll get an idea of the cost. Once we get an idea of the cost, then we can go to the entities that are out there and say, here's the idea. We're going to do a master plan. If you're interested, are you interested in participating? Before this board makes a decision, we would know who's participating or not, at what extent. Then, if that all gets approved for funding, then throughout the process of doing the master plan, all those entities would have to be involved. And that's all on next week, that discussion.
Okay. Ain't gonna move. will not move. Cities basically are interested in them. The county, God bless their hearts, are interested in the county. We want the cities to expand. There will be no big cities in Leavenworth County. There can be some beautiful cities, but there's not going to be any big cities. And I don't think they want big cities. They want nice development for their people to come in and live, have parks and recreation and a whole bunch of things. And hopefully that is their real thought, that they want people living in their community and enjoy living in their community. And that's what's basically taking place. Baser's doing a good job. Lansing's been slowed down because they got a sewer problem. They got road problems. I don't know how they're going to do their money. It's their money. I tell you, the county has really been stepping up, and 155th was a great asset to the city of Lansing. They now have land. They're talking about running a sewer out to the park. There's a lot of things that Lansing will be able to do just for the road that we approved for when they start their construction on 147th Street, and it's closed down. So, anybody have anything? What was this last envelope? I got this envelope from somebody. Oh, this was on the bid on the McIntyre project. This person was very concerned that there was a bid for the heated treatment for McIntyre Road. Cold winter pave.
I think you're referring to the alternate that was asked about. And one of the items when they bid that project, they asked for an alternate for a new, it's a different style of pavement. There's none in this area right now. In order to get it, it would have been cost prohibitive, so they asked for the estimate. It was too costly, so they did not proceed with that alternate.
It would have been interesting if somebody would have responded though and said, hey, you've only got one, I don't know whether it was in Ohio or somewhere, why don't you lower the price and let us do this one road? But they didn't do that, but that's all right. We didn't do the alternate.
We did not do that alternate.
And I think that was $400,000 or $500,000.
It was fairly expensive just for that different style of paving.
Well, can we make sure that the entities get this plan just for the heck of it? Somebody can take it home, you know, a commissioner could take it home and Linwood and say, well, there's something to read. I like watching this.
Certainly that will be in our agenda packet. Really didn't want to send it out to a bunch of different entities until the board here even has a chance to discuss it.
We'll wait to the hearing, that's fine.
Once we have it discussed, then absolutely we will make sure all those entities are aware.
Sounds like a good one. Anybody got anything else?
No, sir.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
We're adjourned.